All right, welcome. Welcome. So this is Ultra Your Course with Mastering the Essential Components of Blackboard. For those that don't know me, I am Kristina Hansen, and I am the instructional designer for the Office of Business Learning and the CTE. In the past, if you've attended these workshops in the past, I've done more towards getting the most out of Blackboard and getting getting the enhanced features implemented into your course. However, I kind of wanted to have a back to basics approach, especially with the influx of new faculty and new adjuncts coming in. So, and before you can use all the bells and whistles, you want to be able to kind of get the basics down. So, what's your experience with Blackboard? Are you new? Are you?
Yeah, I'm new.
Welcome.
Thanks. What's my experience was as a student? So I'm trying to navigate Blackboard now as an instructor. Yeah.
Okay, so you know a little bit of like the navigation, the interface, and stuff. So the student and the instructor view, it is fairly similar. There's just extra tabs for the instructors to access and all that fun stuff. So this is what we'll be focusing on today. The basic building blocks of what makes a good course. The Ultra's way to assess the students in your course. We have there's different categories. You can make a new category. I know there isn't one for lab, so usually in courses I've seen where there's a lab component, that will be one of the custom categories that the instructor can make. So one important thing, especially with active learning and collaboration, is fostering meaningful interactions with the discussion board. The reason being is that the discussion board tends to be notoriously short on shelf life, so to speak. It's one post, it's like a one and done kind of post deal. So we'll be exploring strategies on how to get the most out of that window for students, because I know a lot of times they'll post something, and unless there's a specific rule for them to reply to their peers before a certain deadline, they won't do it. So this is we'll be exploring some strategies. You're going to be setting up your overall grade column. I know the grade book part, you have access to grades as a student. So I know I'm going to focus a little bit more on the grade book part because of that. And then we're going to take a look at course utilities, such as course copy, also making your course available, setting those dates, using things like batch edit tools, and you're going to get an extensive list of the user guides that you will see. So it's not just going to be these. You're going to get an additional list for your reference. So what do you teach?
Nursing.
Nursing? Ah, yes. I work extensively with a lot of the nursing faculty. So, I just spent a long amount of time scanning those assessment checklists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they were scanned as an image, and with the accessibility initiative, I had to OCR that in Acrobat, make it recognize the test, and I export it to Word. I just redid the tables from scratch and just pasted everything. But yeah, I'm like, okay, this is oddly therapeutic, So are you teaching hybrid, I guess, or online? Just in person?
In person.
Okay. As I know, there's a couple of the nursing ones that are, most are in person though. So your emphasis would be definitely on a lot of face-to-face, so getting and a big component, especially like the lab and clinical interaction, dealing with the active learning, the hands-on aspect. But yeah, for your reference, like this is kind of like based on how you want to approach the course, based on the modality and all of that. Okay, so we can see it. Go ahead and scan the QR code. It's gonna open up into that document, which is why remember when I initially said go ahead and log into OneDrive, and then it's just gonna pop up. So it shouldn't like give you a hard time or anything.
Where do we go to log into our OneDrive?
So it should be my training portal.
Oh, there's a corner.
Online, so. And you're already logged into Blackboard.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Do you have like a sandbox course that they gave you?
Yes, I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to open the sandbox?
Yeah, because so you'll be using it to just kind of you're gonna open up the document, follow along, and just follow along the step by step. So I'm actually going to also open the document. So this way. So that way you can also look at it. All right. I'm just gonna do that. So, were you able to go into OneDrive?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna spend a few minutes. So you would just be following the step by step. Let me know if you need me to scroll or back up. Yeah. Hmm?
You scroll down.
Yep.
Are we naming the new one?
Yeah, so where it says new learning module, you could just name it like module 1. Or now, one thing to know, in Blackboard Ultra, everything that you create, by default, it is hidden from students. So you will have to actively select visible to students. Now, when you, so when you're creating it today, let's say, and you go, well, I want this to be available Monday, 7 a.m. Monday morning. Even if you set the date of availability, if you keep the hidden from students there, it's even though Blackboard is being told to release the information, unless you have the visible to students, it's not going to. Okay. Yeah, so that's when you would select the release conditions, but then you want to make it visible because then it's going to say content will be available Monday at 7 a.m.
For these purposes, are we keeping it hidden or visible?
Yeah, you can just keep it visible because your sandbox, nobody else can see it but you unless you have them. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. But I always suggest make it visible just to kind of get in the habit of clicking, making that selection. Yeah. So the module allows for a lot of options, a lot of customization and how you wanna approach it. And there's more than one way to add the same thing. It's all about how you want it presented to the class. So I mean, you can put a direct link straight on the main page, or you can do a document and then upload a file, or you can just write the text in the document and then make a link that way. So there's more than one ways. Okay, so this is. So this is kind of, when you say new document, this is the options that you will have. If you're embedding videos, you want to do the HTML and do the embed code. So if you're doing YouTube, when it says share, embed, yeah. So this is where that would go. So that's for code. And you can always modify that code by adding stuff. I know I did a custom code for auto captions. Yeah. So
the knowledge check, is that really test?
The what?
Knowledge check.
Yeah. So the knowledge check basically takes the content and I think it has the AI assistant that would help also. So here. So you can answer. You can do a question. And you can view the statistics of what your students did. So yeah, but yeah, and this is very similar to. It's a very similar Canvas space to the exam. So, but yeah, it's mainly like a little quiz. But the thing with knowledge check is because it's a knowledge check, so it's not graded. So that way you don't have to worry about modifying any settings and categories. So this is it's a quick one. Ah, there it is. So yeah, I know for the exercise last month we just did the content one. Okay. So as I mentioned before, uploading files. Currently there's 3 ways. You can do a direct upload from the main page. You can do a file upload from here. This is from the main page. And when you go into content, you can do it here. So it's and it's all about how you want to what you want your course to look like. So we you know, even though there's guidelines, like you still have a good amount of flexibility. Who currently teaches the course that you're teaching?
Dr. Davis teaches one, and then Lesia teaches.
Oh yeah, I know Lesia.
The physical assessment course that we were talking about.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one that's got the shiny new versions. I'm like, man, all these steps for blood pressure? Yeah. It's fun though. It's like when you go through them, like, oh, now I know something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at the end of that activity. So were you able to like play around a bit?
Yeah. I created some. So awesome. It creates it separately then, the document? Or do I have to like
so it's not like a document.
Okay, I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like inline. Yeah. Yes. It's basically like the text editor. It's the text editor.
Yeah.
But you can add different heading styles. You can add. I strongly recommend the first line if you're doing just like a text only.
Yeah.
Do a heading 1 or a title as the first line because it's going to say it's not following proper heading structure.
Okay.
It's just for accessibility purposes. All right, so now we're going to go into assessments. Is that large enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're creating your fancy new module. So go ahead and click inside the module, and then you're going to create basically a submission link for an assignment. So go ahead and follow the steps. So, are you on the screen yet? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I got the steps labeled letters for just easy navigation and also just to make sure you got everything, all the bases covered. This is going to be what the assignment will be like in Blackboard, what it's going to look like as the title. So you would give it, of course, it's not gonna be this, but you're gonna give it a name, like week 1 assignment, or week 1 lab, or things of that nature. So 2 most important things: the title, and these are the instructions. So this is where if you do click on, so here. So we are in, hidden module, there we go. Okay, so here we are, create assignment. So when you click this, it's going to open up the text editor toolbar. So here you can upload files. You can hyperlink to different different things. Like if you're like, hey, watch this video and create, write a one-page paper. So this is where you have a very, very robust menu of what you need to provide, so your students follow the directions. So over on this side is where you're going to set your due dates, your grade category. Anything you click, you can. There are some functions, some items for this. For example, like assignment, they are there by default, but their categories can always be changed. So even if you have, if you're like, oh, I need to do a multiple choice test, it, by default, it's going to say test. But you can always put it, if let's say this one was a test, and you have certain weights, you're weighing the exam in a way. So if you're like, okay, well, this is it's a final exam, but it should be under tests, for the grade category weight. You can always change it. So you can always adjust the category, as well as the points. Depending on the assignment, you can even have it anonymous. This is done for like one of those like discussion heavy courses where, but I've seen it done, a couple philosophy professors use it, so that way they don't feel biased, like, oh, well, this person extensively talked about this, but they barely mention it in the paper, so that way it does not skew the bias. So it allows them to focus what's just on the paper. Access code if necessary. This is where you can put a rubric, and you can create, or you can use the AI assistant to generate one. And these are the additional settings. So, this is a setting I think it pertains to your situation, because you said you're in person. So this is a good way. This little box that says collect submissions offline. What this is you're still creating an assignment. Basically, you're creating a column where the student submissions that they hand to you in person, you can just go in and start grading them. You can still have the rubric, you can still have the points, but this way you have that grade column. I always advise against creating manual grade columns where you just go between the grade book and just add it. Because what happens with that, I mean, yeah, you could create the column, it's going to be factored into the total, but once you copy over your course for the next semester, that manual column does not have what's essentially like a digital tether in there, so it's not going to, it has nothing to connect to, so it's just kind of like an orphan column, so the course copy is not going to pick it up. So that's why I always advise do an assignment and just click the even if it's in person, click the accept submissions offline. That is the way Because this way, when you copy it over, it's going to be right there for you. And all you got to do is just change the dates. Mm-hmm. And remember, always remember the hidden from students, visible to students. And this is where you can do release conditions. This is also part of the accommodations exception. So if, let's say, a student has a documented disability and they require 50% more time to submit something, or you want to give a student an extra day, that's where you would do it. Any questions so far?
When I create like a new assignment, say like upload assignment here, does it show the links on the side?
Oh, here, let's see. Oh, the links on the side.
Like I can open these and edit like what they're saying. So they have to fill all this out and then it'll generate like a link certificate or no?
Oh, you mean you want an access code or?
No, not an access code, but like let's say they open an assignment here. Is this become like where they just upload? They just have to go like to submissions.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so what the student sees is if you go in, so in student view, they're going to have the instructions, and to the right side. Yeah, off to the right side, it's going to say view instructions, and then it's going to take them. Okay. Here, I'll show you real quick. Oh, it's not hidden. The module was hidden. Here's the thing. After it's modified. All right. Make that visible for a couple seconds. So, instructions, and then maximum points, assignment due date. But this one's for offline. So let me modify it. Oh, sorry. So for online ones, it's gonna say this first, and then you do view instructions, and your submission, they can write it or they can upload a file. Does that answer your question? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Take that. All right, any questions on assignments? All right. do discussions. So, still within your module, you will the create menu will basically be like your main portal into creating content. And discussions are a great way to kind of help foster that engagement with students. The hidden curriculum with the School of Nursing helps kind of enhance their soft skills. So like bedside manner, that kind of stuff, two-way communication, things of that nature. So when they, the way that some of the discussions are structured is you can choose to have it so where they can't see anybody else's discussion. It's called a post first discussion. They can't see anybody else's until they initially post, and that's when everybody else's stuff is visible. Another one is where you can have contingencies for full credit. You gotta respond to 2 of your peers, So there's different ways. You can even do group, just if you're having so let's say you decide to split the class into different clinical groups, you could do that. And it helps because it kind of helps the students bounce things off each other, and you can do a graded or a non-graded one. The non-graded discussion is usually used as like an always on kind of like a general class discussion, where students can just jump on and say like, hey, is anybody having trouble submitting this, in that way. And it's also a good way for the instructor to communicate. So go ahead and follow the steps and just create a discussion board. And this is more about not so much about like the content itself, but more about trying to get how you get a feel for like the mechanics of it, the settings, and where to find what, what to find where. Nursing department, a lot of their discussions, they'll use like a case study. So in this case, like you would upload like a Word doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of discuss the case study, or one of those things like what went wrong during this clinical assessment, like, because I've gotten to look so much of the content,
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. My sister does. She's in nursing now.
Is she?
At Purdue, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a year away from RN.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Is it like a second career, or is it her first?
Oh no, she's 20.
Yeah.
So yeah. Saw her first episode of Grey's Anatomy when she was 12, and then she's like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. It'll be funny. You'll have to ask her how she feels about it after she gets some experience, because then you pick up on stuff. And
yeah.
That's so bad.
Well, she's a CNA now,
yeah.
So she really likes her patients.
Oh, God.
She gets attached to them.
Yeah. before?
She is, I think she's with the elderly,
Okay.
so like the geriatric unit. Mhm.
I created the discussion.
Awesome. The thing with the discussions in Blackboard, like it's very easy to just have the settings. So you can make it, this is where you can make it post first. This is where you can make it gradable. The prevent editing, I had this conversation with an instructor, because I was like, well, that's kind of a jerk move, like why, and he's like, well, what it's mainly for is to prevent students after they see somebody else's discussion to then just, say the same thing, like steal their idea, or say the same thing, just word it differently, so that way. Mm-hmm. All right. Any questions on the discussions? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So. All right. The grade book. This is the one that has like the largest scope with regards to settings and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna take a look at so I'm gonna kind of go into the grade book here. So not really, here's an instructor. So so this is like the grid of what it looks like. So the more things you have, the more it's going to be, the more extensive it's going to be. It's going to end up looking a lot like a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. So if you were to download it, which you actually can, the CSV. So in setting up the overall grade, when you first when you go into a new course, this is what you're going to see. So what it is, this is basically a running total that the students can use this column to see what they have so far in the grade. There's different grade schemas. I know the School of Nursing does use a different grading scale, where it's like 93 is where the A ends, and yeah. So you can do points, you can do weighted, or you can do advanced. I rarely see this. This is basically like if you wanted to do points, but if you wanted the exam to be weighted. But based on what I've seen, nursing typically uses the weighted, or just a few use the weighted, but mostly it's points based. So let's see. So this is the different categories. So this is where, remember what I mentioned, you can change the categories. So if you have, let's say, something that's a written exam, you can make it as an assignment and then change the category, because if you're doing weighted, that's going to be critical, because then if, let's say, the exam is it's like 30% of the grade, keeping it as an assignment, and if the assignments are, like 15%, you've got to change the category in order for that. So this is kind of what it looks like. This is for the weighted. You can always, one thing I recommend when you first start setting up the overall grade, and this is points. So when you first start setting it up, you're going to see all of this. When you're doing weighted, it has to measure up to 100%. And so let's see. If you have 0 items in a category, if it's a category that you're not really using, you would do this first. So that way, it freaks out at anything outside 100%. So So you want to get those out of the picture because that way you're going to be playing like whack-a-mole with the percentage weights. Because then it's going to just start like jumping around and you're like, well, no, I don't want, I want 0% on that. But then anytime you change one thing, it's going to show back up. So that's why I always recommend so all the categories where you don't have any items, we're going to pretend here we have items on these, usually the main ones. So this is where you can make adjustments. So let's say you're like, I want the assignments to be 20%, discussions to be, let's say, 30, and then exams, the exams. So that's how you would, and then it's 100%. That's how you would kind of do that. On the right side, you have how you want the grade displayed. So letter is the A through F. Points, it's gonna show up as the points they have now, slash the points that, not the total points possible throughout the semester, but what total points possible based on what they've worked on now. You can make it so points earned out of total graded points. So if you want to check this one, everyone's going to have an F until all the work is graded. Okay. So you want to make sure this is checked. Percentage, pretty self-explanatory. I know with the tougher grading scale, sometimes, so if they have like a, like an 80, 81, that's a C at that point. So, you want to make sure that you communicate that to them, because I know Blackboard goes by the standard one where it's color coded. So if they see like an 81 and it's green and they're like, oh, I have a B, but so you want to make sure you remind them of that. Complete, incomplete, mainly I see this as one of those like syllabus quizzes that they have, those types of things. So let's go to the points. Points, they're pretty standard. So, you would check, uncheck stuff that you don't want. And then you want to check your total points. So with the point feature, most important thing is make sure each category has the amount of items that it's meant to have, and also that your total points reflect the syllabus. So basically, what this is, the overall grade setting, it's basically the grade, like the grading policy, the breakdown of the grading scale that you provide on the syllabus. It's just in the course. So think of it that way. So just go to like the grading breakdown of the syllabus, and then go by that one. And it's a good way to kind of like cross-reference to make sure, you're like, okay, did I leave anything out? Did I put something in the wrong? Especially in weighted categories, it's important that you put the items in the correct category. So, any questions so far? Okay. So I want to show you, because I know some of the, if not all, the courses use a different grading scale. So no matter what view you're in, these four, the heading, the setting, the gear icon, this is where it'll take you to the gradebook setting, the more comprehensive ones. So what you want to do is manage grade schemas. It's the first choice. So the letter one, this is a standard one. To add, like the more rigid grading scale, you would just do add grade schema. So it starts you with A through F, and you're basically going to be putting all the stuff in between. So first we're going to start with, let's say, from 93, and then just, so it's, you edit the minimum for the first one, and then you can just keep on going. So what is it, like 83 or 84? I know it's like off by a couple points.
Yeah.
74 to, what is it, 60 up. So. Yeah. So once you do that, by the time you get to F, it's going to reflect it. So yeah, I think that's correct, but I know that A is correct, but I don't know where the I think it might be 83 or 84.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. But yeah, like this is just to give you kind of a feel for creating a custom one.
And then, so when you go to grade, then you have to select which scale you want to use then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna, so you created the schema, and then when we go to set up the overall grade, the schema it's gonna be an option.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Oh, so we did grade schemas for the gradebook settings. So student performance, you want to kind of keep track of if your students are struggling. So you want to, you can enter, and this is discretionary, like whether they do it or not, you can, this is just like something for you. The students don't get a note, don't know that you have the setting, but they will get, the only way they'll know is that they will get a message. So if their grade falls below, let's say 80%, they're going to get a message. Or a number of missed due dates, days since last access. So you're like, hey, you haven't logged in 5 days. You know, what's going on? So this is where you can send notifications in their activity stream based on these settings. So it's a good way to kind of identify, you know, what students are kind of at risk, or which ones are kind of teetering on that, towing that line of like failing out of the program. So, you know, having these, so that way you don't have to kind of manually look through and comb through stuff. It kind of just gives you what you need to know. It's pretty neat. This is automatic zeros. What it is if they submit something once the deadline, the due date closes, the gradebook gives them an automatic 0. So that way when you're like, okay, well, this person didn't put anything in. So instead of, you know, you having to go and put in a 0 out of 10, let's say, it's going to give them automatically a 0. Now, you can always override it. You can always uncheck the automatic zeros. You know, like if there's an exception, you can always override it, but you also, it's up to you whether you want to Over here is where you can add a new category. I know some of the classes do have like lab as a category, so you can definitely add that. And it's just add new category, and that's it. So, any questions so far? So this is what I advise against. Remember with the manual column?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just your ordinary everyday. This is basically like a text item, a calculation, so this is basically a total column that you can kind of you can select different categories. So if, let's say, there's a component, if they have like 2 grades, so if they get like a lab grade and a lecture grade, you can do it that way. So when we spoke about analytics, so over here is where you kind of have those. So for example, you could do question analysis. And if you're like, so why do so many students struggle, seem to like do bad on the exam? So if you go to question analysis, it'll give you a list of all the assessments, and then you click on the one in question, and it's going to, you can run the report, and it's going to give you basically similar to this, kind of with this data. So how many people got it right? What was the overall, what percentage of students got this question right? What was the grading rate? Only like less than 5% got an A. So you kind of have those components to work with if you so choose. Okay. So for this one, I know it's kind of because new incoming adjuncts, so you don't really have any previous courses, but the course copy and availability. So I'm gonna open up. This is the last activity. So a course copy is done in the main course content one. If you do copy items, let me see if I can access it from here. Yeah, we're gonna do copy items, and then you're gonna check the course you want to copy. So if this is like, you're probably going to end up, if somebody's handing you, if you're inheriting a course, that's probably what's going to happen. You'll probably gain access to their course, so that way you can view it under your courses, and that way copy it. So for copying items, it's always a pull function. So you always go into the new course and you pull the content. I remember before Ultra, like Learn 9.1, it was the other way around. It was a push one. So you would actually be in the old course and then push it to a new course. So this one, the check mark here is for anything and everything within that course, minus the enrollments, of course. Anything and everything gets copied over. But if you want something more selective, instead of clicking this, you would click on the line, and then whatever has an arrow, that means there's more. So like chapters, syllabus, course materials. Let's say you're like, okay, well, I want to copy most of this, but I don't want these things. So you can check and uncheck. So if you want something a little more, if let's say, you're going to a new edition for the textbook, and if there's a lot of textbook heavy stuff, or like a publisher integration, like Pearson, MyLab, things like that. This is where you can kind of, cherry pick the stuff that you want. Mostly though, what they do, what most instructors do, they'll copy everything, and then they're just gonna they just kind of sift through their stuff. So once you do start copy, it's gonna take you to the main page, thing will be spinning, and then you're gonna start to see your stuff populate. Yeah, so we went through this. And then you just start copy. It's going to do its thing, and then you can even click refresh. Don't do it during it though, but like after it's done, you can click refresh. And then after, you're like, okay, I've set all my settings. Oh yeah, I was going to show you about batch edit, which is kind of it's a common thing that's done after you copy your course. So let's say you're in your brand new course. You've got all the stuff in there, but because you copied from last semester, the due dates are off. So I always recommend to instructors fix the due dates first, because once the course starts, if you have automatic zeros, they have the previous semester's due dates. So the grade book to the students, it's going to look like, why did I get a 0 on all this?
Okay.
So to kind of prevent the panic-induced back and forth messaging, you wanna. So all you gotta do is just click on the calendar, and you'll be able to fix the dates from here. So if it has a due date, you'll be able to click on it and update it. With a batch edit though, so let's say you're like, okay, well I want to do this section. You can do kind of like a rough adjustment. Change. So these are your things. Change a specific date or time. So this one is if you have several things and you want them on the same day, highly unlikely. Change dates by the number of days. Change dates based on course start. So this is a good way to kind of preemptively shift that. So let's say let's say you're strapped for time, but you want to just have the due dates updated. Of course, with things like because what it is, these things it does not factor in between like the spring break that kind of throws things off, and also fall break during the fall semester. So that's why I always say, like, you can kind of like shift them en masse like 4 months later, but you still want to be able to go through and make sure that you kind of match them up still with the syllabus dates. And the start date is a little more accurate than the number of days. But neither account for the spring break factor or any of that. So, any questions on the batch edit? Well, here we go. Delete the assignment. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So one last thing. You've got everything, you're ready to show off your course. So the last thing now is to make it available. And this is where you will do that. You can either click here, go to course settings, and what the course settings looks like is this. So open, course duration, you can do it based on course duration or based on enrollment. So depending on the institutions, so some institutions have it where after 2 weeks They don't allow courses to be visible, or you could do dates. This is the most common one. All right, any questions? All right. Do that. So, and you will get a copy of this. You're going to get a copy of the presentation along with the list of tutorials. So, here's some best practices. You know, the second one, I'm helping out on that too. So, making the content accessible. A lot of Xeroxed textbook pages. A lot, but luckily we're able to fix it. So, so here's some of the things to keep in mind, and I'll have this sent to you. So, if you need to find me, any questions? I know Lesia I've worked with her extensively, so I helped set her up last semester as a new adjunct last year. So we've been working together, getting a lot of this accessibility done. So anything general support, Blackboard, I am down the hall in F210. So if you go that way, you're going to see the School of Business, and then you're going to see Office of Distance Learning on your left side. So, yep, between the two bridges. So that's where I can be reached. 3382 is my extension. All right, well, thank you.